right, welcome back to the show. Today I've got Scott Durham, and I know he's a flipper, but to be honest, I don't know much more about him, and I enjoy that because I like to learn about people on the show. So, Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. So, give us 30 seconds, minute spiel, what you're doing. Obviously, I know you're a flipper, but tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, man. So I've been in real estate for, I can't believe it, but 20 years. So I've been at this a long time. I've been a real estate agent, worked my way up to being a top producer. We were selling 50 to 75 houses a year. I was like, well, wait a minute, this is great. I love working with clients, but if I could do this for myself, it makes a whole lot more sense. Make more money on each deal, make the profits for myself, make 5 to 10 times the amount of money on a commission that I would on just a regular commission. So I started doing investing. So I started flipping houses, which led me into actually holding on to some for rentals. Also, we do short-term rentals. So a lot of times I'll buy them just the same way. I kind of got spoiled where I have to buy a property at a discount. I can't pay retail for it, so I'll buy it. I'll renovate it. Sometimes I'll refinance, get almost all or all of the cash that I put back into it, and then I do short-term rentals, which have proven to be really, really good and getting really good cash flow for us. How the tenants pay down the mortgage, all that good stuff.
Nice. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
you took kind of a path that I think a lot of people want to take, but you actually did it. Because I hear a decent amount of people are like, yeah, I want to become a realtor so that then I can invest in real estate, however that looks, whether it's single family rentals, if they
Yeah.
want to do flips, whatever it is. You actually did that, and you're one of the few that I've heard do that. It sounds like successful at that. So why did it work for you?
Well, just persistence and sticking to it, right? So, I mean, a lot of people want to started investing in real estate, which is great, but they don't have any money. But selling real estate is a great way to raise up some cash. It's not something that everybody necessarily wants to do forever. I still do it kind of here and there to this day because those commission checks are really nice. You go sell a $500,000 house, you make 12, 15,000 bucks. It's pretty sweet. And then just making the choice, like, hey, why don't I utilize my expertise that I built up being a real estate agent and just put it to work for myself, not just for my clients.
Yeah, 100%. So early on, how did you find your deals, and what that first deal look like?
Yeah, so I built my real estate brokerage business up by using online leads, and Google, like Google pay per click specifically. So that translated really well into the motivated seller thing. So I paid Google to be on the top of the search list when somebody would put need to sell my house fast or cash home buyer or terms like that people may put in. And these are like the best possible leads you could get. We were closing like between 1 and 7 and 1 out of 10 of these leads that came in. So
Wow.
you don't have to deal with a ton of people or talk to a bunch of people, hear too many no's before you get a yes. And then they work kind of hand in hand too, because if you have someone that wants to sell their house, if they don't want to sell it at a price that makes sense for us to buy it, well, we would just list the house, right? So that would pay for our marketing, and so we could monetize it multiple ways. So it really kind of worked out well. So as far as the first deal, it came through exactly like that. I was through a lead provider that got these leads through the internet. She put in, I want to sell my house fast. I went and met with her. And it's really funny because I find that oftentimes the first deal that you do, at least in my experience, is often like one of the easiest. It was that way when I got into real estate, where like someone literally just walked into my office and said, hey, I want to buy a house. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest. This is the greatest thing ever. So it's kind of similar where the lead came in. I went to her house. I said, hey, how much do you want for it? She gave me like a super reasonable price. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, hey, that works. I wrote her offer on the spot, and we did the deal.
That's awesome. So my guess is, it sounds like this is about 20 years ago. My guess is you probably can't find leads that easy from online anymore, or can you?
You can. It's not as easy, and it's got to be a whole lot more expensive. I started actually investing in 2016 or 2017, but the cost of the marketing has gone through the roof, right? So I used to pay $75 for a lead like that, and I thought that was a lot of money at the time. But a similar lead now can go for 400 or 500 bucks easily, depending on what market you're in.
Sure. What market are you in?
I'm in Reno, Nevada, so we're up in northern Nevada, up by Lake Tahoe.
Nice. Very nice. So you said you started about 10 years ago with flipping. So you were a realtor for 10 years prior to that. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So how hard was that kind of transition? And did you have money for that first deal? How'd that look?
Yeah, I had money saved up for the first deal. I tend to pay cash for most of the deals. People don't have to. You can get hard money loans. You can get partners. Money's not really an excuse. There's all sorts of ways to get started this, but I had the cash. And I just said, hey, why don't we do this? We made it quick and easy. We can close in a couple of weeks, made the repairs. And I mean, I think I made $50,000 or just under $50,000 on the first flip. And so from there, I was kind of hooked.
Yeah. Did you do the work yourself or
Oh
hired
no,
it?
oh, goodness, no! I can't. I am inept. I'm unable to do any kind of work. Like so, I've just got guys that do go in there and do all of it. That is not my thing.
Yeah. No, I understand. Well, and it's easier to build a business that way, right? And my first rental that I had, I did everything and it was awful. I learned a ton, but
Uh,
you can't scale doing that.
no, no, and then you can't go find the next deal. I mean,
Yep.
I really appreciate our contractors. They work really hard. They work really hard in a different way that we do in our business. But I just let them be successful and bless them and allow them to feed their families with the work that they do, and I'll stick to what I'm good at.
Yeah, 100%. You said you used your own money. It sounds like maybe now too, but at least for that first deal. And
Yeah,
I think that's, obviously if you can find good deals and you can make it work with raising money, great. But I think it's from the people that I see and from my experience, if you've got a good foundation of cash flowing properties with equity in them, and
yeah,
even if that's your money that you put in to have that kind of safe haven for the equity, I think that's the way to do it, at least to build the foundation. And then if you want to get into raising money and syndication later, that's one thing. But especially in this environment that we don't know where interest rates are going, they've
yeah,
obviously more than doubled in the past few years. A lot of people are hurting because of that because they were expecting rates to stay lower.
yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think it's good to, I want to hear your thoughts, but I think it's good to start with a solid foundation. You've got equity baked in because you brought a down payment and
Yeah.
you've got cash flow.
Yeah, if you can do it, it's obviously ideal. I don't necessarily suggest, like you said, going and syndicating money or raising money from your friends and family and investors or whatnot. But in flipping a house, it's relatively easy to go get a loan from a hard money lender where if you've got 10 or 15% to put down, they'll do the rest. The other thing that I really like to do is like if you really have a good deal, you got to make sure you have a good deal, is that you just create there's plenty of people out there that have a bunch of money that don't want to go and figure out how to do this real estate thing. So, I mean, if you could do it, as long as you want to know, I think it's good to have a mentor or someone that you're working with because when you're first starting out, if you've never bought a house before, it's difficult. But down the road, like you said, there's all sorts of people there that if you find a good deal, there will be money from other people that will show up.
Yep, absolutely. So day one sounds like it was probably just you, and it sounds like you hired contractors out. Was that a problem? Did you find good contractors? I know times have changed. It's
Yeah.
gotten a little bit more difficult with contractors, but how did that look?
It was difficult back then too because we're in an area that's growing super fast or has been growing super fast, and contractors are in demand. And then during the great financial recession, a lot of those contractors left, and not they all didn't really all necessarily come back. So, but being in the business, being a real estate agent, I already had a base of people that I work with. So, I mean, everything worthwhile that's doing is not always that easy. So, and it's kind of like a revolving door. Like if you have someone, you want to have a backup plan because a lot of times people are good for a while and they disappear. They go on vacation, they move, they start charging more, they get too busy. So it's always good to be networking and to have that good network of contractors that you work with because it can be changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to get into it in a little bit what your team kind of looks like now. But so you did that first deal, sounds like you made some money.
Yeah.
How'd you kind of go from there? Did you just say, I'm for the most part done selling houses, I'm all in on flips? When did you get in the rentals, all those things?
Yeah, so I still to this day I'm not officially done selling houses, and back then I was really still that was still kind of the focus of my time and energy was on selling houses for clients. Um, because I've got family, I got responsibilities. I need to make sure I was making great money and on the brokerage side. So,
Yep.
but as time has gone on, the more deals that I've done, the more comfort I've got. So, like right now, my focus is on investing. Yes, I do help clients if they come across my desk, but it's kind of been a transition where it doesn't have to necessarily be all one or the other because again, they kind of go together. Like if you get a lead that's someone that wants to sell their house, well, hey, they may be a good candidate for a cash offer. They may be a good candidate for listing. It kind of, they really work together well like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's your team? Oh, sounds like you were day one. You were hiring subs. How's that look now?
Yeah. So as far as the construction goes, I got a great crew. I got one of my best friends who's actually like a general licensed handyman, and they do all the flooring and the painting and all the miscellaneous repairs around the house. I've got specialized contractors for any electrical or plumbing or roofing, anything that you really need, like a good contractor's license for. We have it hired out. So I just kind of get a good network of people that I work with in the different trades, and it just seems to be, for the most part, most of the time works out pretty well.
That's great. So, are you still finding deals yourself, or do you have anyone doing that?
So lately, I have stepped off the gas as far as going out and finding deals myself, and I'm working with a lot more wholesalers because there's wholesalers out there. They'll go do the work. They'll go tie up the property with the seller. They'll put their spread on it. It's a lot easier for me. I don't have to go chasing sellers around, and I'll just buy it from them. The other thing I'm doing is, honestly, and a lot of people aren't doing this anymore because they don't believe the deals are there. But I'm buying deals right off the MLS or right off Zillow, publicly listed. Because if you are paying attention and you kind of are efficient and just give them what they want, there are still absolutely great deals. Some of the best deals I've ever done have been right off the market. And then I even
Wow.
kind of use some tools, some AI tools that kind of analyze the properties a lot quicker than I can. So every so often I'll go in there and say, hey, with my certain prompts that I give either Chat GPT or Claude or whatever, and say, hey, here I import all the data from the MLS. Say, hey, give me the top 10 fix and flip deals that are available right now, and boom, it'll spit out 10. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not good, but it really kind of narrows it down and gives another set of eyes that is a lot quicker and a lot smarter than I am.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about AI. You said Chat GPT and Claude. When you're doing that, are you putting the deals into those AI models, or are you? Because I don't think you can connect them with like Zillow or anything, right?
So what I do is, because I'm an agent, it's super easy for me to export the data into a CSV file from
Got it.
right from the MLS,
Yep.
and I just upload it. So I upload the solds and I upload the actives. Say, hey, let's check, have compare the actives versus the solds and see where are my deals at here, and it just kind of takes a couple minutes and it kind of spits it out.
It's
As far
crazy.
as just doing it for like a typical person, I mean, I guess they could partner up with an agent, have them export the data and do it that way, or with this new chat GBT agent that's coming on. I know that it's starting to be able to surf the internet on its own. I haven't tried it, but I know at some point soon, or someone's going to come out with something where it can search Zillow or Realtor.com for you as well.
Really, that's interesting. It's crazy how fast. Well, AI has been around for a little while, at least 10 years or
Yeah,
so. But it's crazy how fast things are changing with that. I've been running some deals and basic numbers through Chat GPT just to give kind of a second look at it.
yeah,
But it's unreal what it's doing, and the
it's so
early.
fun.
What's that?
I'm sorry, it's so fun. I really enjoy using it.
Yeah, no, it's so much fun. And I think the early adapters are the ones that are going to really benefit from it, because there's still a lot of people out there that are against it, or they're using it as give me the best restaurant in town, right? They're not truly using it to, I don't want to say full capabilities, because we don't even know what that is yet, but it's not
Yeah,
using it to its capabilities.
yeah. Yes, it's really an incredible tool. I suggest for anyone to just kind of like take some time, maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos for whatever business they're in, and it just saves an incredible amount of time. Yeah, just yesterday I had to build a whole new calculator for me. And to this day, I've just been using an old like Excel spreadsheet for my
Yeah.
rehab stuff, and I typed in. I spent about an hour and a half or so, and it just spit out this beautiful calculator as far as like, hey, here's what it looked like if we were to flip it. Here's what it would look like if we were to do a short-term rental. Here's what the cash flow is. Here's what the profit is. It's just, I mean, you literally watch it code in the background. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I did that a couple of weeks ago, try to come up with an Excel spreadsheet, an analyzer basically. And the first one wasn't the greatest, but you just give it a few more prompts and it's amazing what it spits out. It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
You got to be a little patient with it because it's not perfect, but you kind of have to be involved in the process some and test it. Like, hey, no, change this, change that. And if you're,
Yep.
spend a little bit of time, it can sure code a lot faster than than I ever could. So
Absolutely. Um, so you said you've got a buddy that it sounds like a GC. Do you have like a project manager or who oversees just basic property man or project management stuff, right? Kind of babysitting the contractors. Who does that?
yeah, so he does that, the lion's share of that, and then when we get the other trades involved, I'll go by. I probably go by and check the houses once a week, and then maybe when it's getting closer to crunch time and getting ready to put on the market, it'll be a little bit more frequent than that.
Sure.
So it's a kind of combination where I'm still doing it, and I have him doing it. But again, I've got a good core group of contractors where you have to check their work, but overall they do a pretty good job.
Yeah. And I asked that because I've got a couple of flipper friends that I don't they're working on their systems.
Yeah,
One buddy of mine, he doesn't I think for a while, and he's been in it forever. He's got a great portfolio, but he's kind of been skimping on labor. So he's been doing a lot more management, obviously. And I've been telling him like you get what you pay for. And it sounds
yeah.
like you probably pay or and you hired the best subcontractors there are, so you don't have to babysit them and deal with all that stuff.
That's the idea. It doesn't always work out that way, and I'm not really like probably a systems guy as much as I should be. So I'm probably more like your friend than you're giving me credit for. But I'm just blessed to have a good network of people that I work with, and I do check on to make sure that things happen.
Sure, sure. So what's next 1, 3, 5, 10 years? What's kind of your plan, your vision, your goals?
Yeah, so my wife and I are actually planning on. We're kind of tired of like spending the winters here in the cold, so we're going to be spending 4 or 5 months a year down at Scottsdale. So it's just really building up the business where it can keep going without me being here. I'll of course maybe fly back once a month or so to check on things and make sure things are going, but really get more Airbnb properties are cash flowing really good. It's just nice to have the ability to choose whether. I don't think I ever necessarily want to retire, but having a little bit more passive income coming in and just having that choice every month whether I really want to put the pedal to the metal or not is really, it's kind of where we're at. But once you get there, you always want to get a little bit more. So just multiplying the efforts that what we're doing so far.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's what that's one of the greatest powers of real estate, right? It can be nothing's passive, but
Yeah.
semi-passive to where you can kind of live your life and you can move wherever you want and you're still, as long as you've got the nice systems and good people in place, it can continue running without you in the day to day. There's not many things on this planet that you can do that with and still make money.
Indeed, we're super blessed to be in this business. Like you said, nothing's perfect. I love this business. I'd say about 98% of the time, 2% I want to pull my hair out. But
Right.
just like anything else in life, nothing's perfect. But it's given us just an incredible life and incredible opportunities.
Yeah. How are you navigating just the changing market? And I don't know. I'm in Ohio. I'm in the Midwest, so
Oh, nice.
it is changing, but for the most part, it's pretty stable. Right? The Midwest is always going to be somewhat stable, but
Yeah.
environment's still changing. So how are you doing that? How are you? How's that affecting you? What are you doing? And how much is it affecting you?
Yeah, so it's affecting us that properties are taking a little bit longer to sell than we'd like. The prices really haven't changed all that much. The prices have held steady, and we're one of those kind of more high flyer type markets. So we've been blessed that it hasn't. The prices haven't really. They've really kind of stabilized up to this point. When we're just seeing more inventory. There's more, homes to choose from than there has been in several years. But then there again, we've been kind of spoiled. Like the real estate market of 2021 in recent years, like it's not always going to be like that. So I've been doing this long enough that I've seen a number of different markets. You have to be careful. You make your money when you buy. So you have to be disciplined to only buy, really good deals and not be like, yeah, that one's okay. I don't have as much going on. I want to feel like I'm doing something, just go for it. That's when you kind of get burned. You wind up, breaking even or not making as much money or even losing a little bit of money on a property. So just really being disciplined, allowing for more time for it to sell. And, but from the flip side, there's always the positive side to it is that it's a little bit easier. Like for years, it's been difficult to find motivated seller deals. It's a lot easier to do that now than it was a year, 1, 2, 3, or 5 years ago for sure. So there's definitely some benefits to it too.
Yeah, absolutely. How important is it for you to, it sounds like you're just in Reno. Are you in certain neighborhoods? Do you look throughout the entire city? How important is it to you to stay in a certain market or certain neighborhood?
Yeah, so for the flips, we'll go anywhere. So if it's an area that I'm familiar with, we'll do it within an hour or so drive of the office or whatnot. For the Airbnbs, you got to kind of be more specific, because in any town, what I've noticed, or at least here, anyways, like there's certain parts and they're at certain price ranges in certain areas that'll rent out really well, and other areas that you could spend a whole bunch of money and it really won't give you that much better of a return. It'll give you a worse return because you bought the house for so much more money. So the Airbnbs that we have are all kind of focused on one specific neighborhood that is just kind of tried and true for us. But for the flipping itself, we're kind of open to, we have one going down the south end, we got one going on the north end, we kind of got them going on all over the place.
But you probably know your market well enough to where it doesn't really matter where you go, because you're still staying in your market, right?
That's right. I'm just staying in my market. Haven't explored out into other areas. Always kind of look and get some wholesaler deals from here and there. I actually flew out to Ohio a few years ago. I was going to buy a bunch of houses in Cleveland and just didn't pull the trigger. I was out there in December, and I got to tell you, I thought it was cold here. I had never experienced cold like a December in Cleveland, Ohio. It was insane. I remember going to the airport at 4 a.m. or something. I thought I was going to die. It was crazy.
Yeah, on the lake with the wind. Oh, it's brutal up there.
Oh my gosh, it was pretty rough.
Yeah. No, stay. Yeah, when you said you don't want to stay in the cold in Reno, I'm thinking, how cold can it really get out there?
We get snow. Yeah. I mean, they'll get down to the teens a couple times. A lot of times in the 20s at night, and then 30s, and then So it's not. It's just a long winter. It's not like Ohio, but I'm from Southern California, so I guess maybe it's a little bit spoiled.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Cool. Well, we covered a lot of ground here. What I miss?
Yeah, I mean, so if anyone wants to connect with me, I'm kind of an open book. I'm putting this out there. So if anyone wants to kind of follow what we're doing and get tips, I mean, it's just the best way to do that would be on Instagram. I'm at real.scottdurham. So it's REAL.SCOTTDURHAM. And I'd love to connect with you and help anybody out right on there.
That's awesome. Do you have a coaching program or community, or you just want to help people along?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be launching a community here shortly. It's in the works, but right now we're just looking to connect with people and help them as we can on social media.
That's awesome. That's and that's the main driving force with me doing this podcast, is just to give back, because there's so many scams gurus out there that don't know what they're doing, that aren't doing what they're teaching.
Right.
So that's why I do this. So it sounds like you're doing something similar, which is great, giving back and helping people, achieve their dreams if they want to go after them.
That's what it's about, man. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Scott, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for following, subscribing, and listening to this episode of the Do More podcast, hosted by John Farling. To learn more or ask questions, go to l4investing.com.